Hello and welcome to a special mini-episode of Breaking Play, a series where I break down games of Guild Ball and look for lessons to improve future play. For this episode, I've got a review of the newest member of the Hunters Guild, fresh out of the Free Cities draft, Skaitha's very own little sister, Edge. I put in a lot of votes for Edge throughout the campaign, and especially in the final push at SteamCon UK, so I was thrilled to get an early peek and the opportunity to share some initial impressions with you all. I didn't have time to put together a full match report, but I did get some video of her in action. Before we get to that though, let's check out the card and sculpt.
You think you know me?
First impressions, she's another fast 7-9 speed model with a standard 3-6 kick. Pretty fragile at 4-0 with 13 boxes, but take a look at this playbook. Momentous tackle dodge on 1, momentous 2 damage and a guild ball on 2, and that guild ball is this new character play Entangle, which snares the model within 6 inches and is not once per turn. Plus she has a momentous tackle double dodge on the top. Compare that to Egret, same tack 4, with a momentous dodge on 1, and a momentous tackle on 2, and the same for Ulfer, though he can be tack 6, and a momentous push dodge on the top. Egret brings other tools to the team, I'm not criticizing her, but night and day, Edge's playbook is a thing of beauty. Now let's take a look at her traits. Standard Hunter's light-footed trait at the bottom here, that's good. Close control, awesome to have that trait in faction. But these two new traits are what really make her unique and fun. Unorthodox gives her an added double dodge to any successful attack against a snared target, so that tackle dodge on 1 becomes a tackle triple dodge if they're snared. Set up with a Blessing of the Moon Goddess from Skaitha, and that's a momentous tackle quintuple dodge on 1. I'll take it. And then we get to Mirage. Once during her activation, she can teleport within a piece of rough ground, fast ground, or forest that she's in. This might be my favorite thing about her, as there's nothing I love more than places. Ohern has long been one of my favorite models because of the freedom jumping around forests gives him, and I don't know if I've had as much fun with any guild as the Miners, where everyone gets a miniature version of that. So looking at her overall, while she doesn't have the 8-inch kick of Egret or Ulfer, I think she might be the team's best non-captain striker. With her high speed, easy tackle dodge combo, and close control, I think she'll be able to take a number of goal runs the team struggled with outside of Skaitha in the past. And getting to do that without committing your captain can be huge. When you do get stuck into a fight and can't get her to the ball, the momentous 2 and a guild ball on 2 could be a great way to end a turn, chipping in some damage and snaring multiple models momentously. Just be careful because she's super fragile. One last quick observation, I love that she has synergies with all 3 captains. I've gotten to play 2 games with her with Skaitha as captain, and there's great synergy there, with Skaitha dropping a fast ground on her and maybe a blessing. On those games I've activated her 4 times, and she's scored 3 goals, which is pretty exciting as a start. While I haven't actually put her on the table with the other 2 captains yet, there are apparent synergies with both of them as well. While all of the teams put out Snared, Steeljaw really overloads the opponent with it, helping to ensure that Edge will have access to those extra double dodges from Unorthodox. And Theron also can support her with a Forest on demand for teleporting around via Mirage. I'd like to try out a build with her and Ohern both to maximize the functional options of that Forest. Note that Sunstrike from Theron also makes her second column double momentous, which is a pretty nice way to end a turn if you can set it up. Anyway, enough about the card, let's take a look at the model and then get to some actual game experience. Now please forgive/ignore my mangling of the model here. I'm a ham-fisted goon at the modeling side of the hobby at the best of times, and I was hurrying to get her assembled so I could record some gameplay. I accidentally spilled a bunch of extra glue on her trying to put her on the base, and then I snapped her ankle trying to break the excess off so I could re-glue her better. Despite my buffoonery, she's a lovely sculpt. Crisp lines, a static pose that still communicates some attitude, and a nice blend of unique elements to her character, alongside classic Hunter's bird skulls and feathers and the like. There's a light mold line down the side of her jacket that looks like it should be rather easily cleaned up. I'll honestly leave it untouched myself, but I'm personally more about the gameplay. And speaking of that, let's see her on the pitch. I got home from a local event on Saturday to find that Edge had arrived in the mail, and I was able to arrange a short notice game with Alex Spots for Sunday afternoon. We met up at the Dice Dojo North or Chicagoland Games, a short drive from my apartment, and he brought his butchers. The rosters were Vet Boar, Princess, Boiler, Shank, Vet Ox, and Cinnamon, versus Skaitha, Snow, Vet Minx, Cena, Vet Hern, and Edge, with the butchers kicking. Vet Minx and Cena are standard picks, and I wanted to try Vet Hearn out for another source of snare to set up edge, as the point of the game from my side was to try and find some highlights of what she can do. Last Light also seemed potentially valuable, with Scatha and Edge both having single influence cost plays, and some more janky teleporting with Lunar Eclipse could be fun. Since we don't have time for the full match, let's skip ahead a bit into turn 1. Midway through the turn, Scatha drops her fast ground in front of Edge and Hearn, puts Blessing of the Moon Goddess on Edge, passes the ball to her, dodging her up into just towing the fast ground, and then hits Vet Ox, who had kicked off with a Cold Snap to snare him. Vet Ox then goes and moves up and takes the trap that Vet Minx had dropped, clears his snare, and buys the whirling chains to pull Minx and Scatha in. Our mascots both jog, and then it's Edge's turn to see what she can do. She Mirage teleports to the other side of the fast ground, approximately 4 inches of move, and then buys an Entangle to re-snare Vet Ox. She then declares a charge on Vet Boar, having a path to move her full 11 inches, ending up engaged by Cinnamon. She gets 5 successes against the 3-1 captain, wrapping to take 2 momentum, deal 2 damage and snare to Boar, and dodge 3 inches thanks to the Blessing, ending up base to base with the side of the Butcher's Goal. She takes the easy tap in from there. So on her first activation, she moved about 18 inches, snared 2 models, dealt 2 damage to Boar, and tapped in a goal. That's not too bad. Looking back, I should have also run the length back into base with Boar after the goal to try and keep him out of the midfield, or at least lessen what he can do there. The damage plus snare already means he has to clear the snare to get to my team, so Minx is going to be a 5-1 against him. The snare on Vet Ox also makes it so Cena is easily able to take him out later this turn. Boar does manage to take Scatha out this turn also, so it ends up 6-2 to the Hunters. In a quick rundown of the rest of this short game, Scatha comes back on and puts in a goal after taking the ball off of Boiler, bringing the Hunters to 10 early in turn 2. Edge got no influence in the second turn, but she did dodge 4 inches toward the forest when Alex Plate seized the initiative. Vet Ox ended up engaging her near the forest after his activation, so on her activation she was able to jog over to touching the forest within his melee, and then Mirage teleport to the far side of it, where she'd have been set up for turn 3 had we gotten there. However, Boar had started with his legendary, and the team gets 3 more takeouts before Shank puts in the final goal to end the game 12-10 for the Butchers. I possibly made a mistake going with Scatha right away instead of activating Cena before she dies, but that's a dilemma Alex set up for me. If I go with Cena, Boiler clears the ball away where Scatha can't get to it. If I take the goal, Boiler kills Cena before she activates. There might be a line where Scatha takes the ball but not the goal, and I accept the takeouts coming, then try to find 2 more points myself the following turn before putting in the goal. So there's a little bit on Edge. What are your early thoughts on her? What lineups would you like to play her in? Thanks for watching, and may your play always be improving.